This is highwithoutcoke and welcome to another pathofexile's video. Today I'm going to give you a big update about my current build, Chaos Blazing Salvo Totem Hierophant. It's been a week since the release of Trial of the Ancestors. I am now level 94, having done some Guardians and Pinnacle bosses. For example, the Eater of Worlds and the Searing Exarch. The clear for this build is quite good with 5 totems firing 8 projectiles each. You just need to run around monster packs and your totems will do the job for you. Single target damage for this build is awesome. I cast Wither occasionally to increase the damage taken by the bosses. I have more than 1 million Guardian DPS now. Not much, but the damage is enough to kill the bosses if you are familiar with the fight. This is me fighting the Searing Exarch for the first time in this league, and it was done deathless. To trivialize the ball phase, I cast Frost Wall before the balls. These balls always ignite if you get hit, so make sure to get ignite immunity somewhere if you are not good at dodging them. A guy that cannot be ignited while at maximum endurance charges Charge Mastery at the top of the passive skill tree before this fight. The Eater of Worlds was also very easy for this build, but during this fight, I died once to the tentacles because I wasn't paying attention. So please watch out for the tentacles. Don't be like me. There are a lot of changes made since my last video, whether it's my gears or my skill tree. Before I go into the details, if you like what you are watching, please take a second to like my video and subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate your support. This is my current body armor. Try to get one with the +2 to jump level corrupted implicit. This is because spell damage scales very well with jump level. Also, increased totem life is very important because we want our totems to survive long enough for them to deal damage. Really important when fighting endgame bosses. I managed to 6-link my body armor under 300 chaos using tainted currencies. If you don't know yet, this is how you do it. First, get some tainted armor scrap and spam it until you get the quality to at least 28%. This is important because you get a higher chance of adding a link at higher quality. Second, you go to your crafting bench and craft 4 sockets. You will need some Val orbs for this craft. Then you apply a tainted jeweler's orb. There are 2 possible outcomes. You either add or remove a socket. Adding is what we want to get the 5th socket. But let's say in this case, you fail and remove a socket, do not apply the tainted jeweler's orb again. Instead, you go back to the crafting bench, craft 4 sockets, and try to get the 5th socket again. Once you get the 5th socket, you can proceed to use another tainted jeweler's orb to try and get the 6th. If you remove a socket again and now you have 4, you can still try using tainted jeweler's orb again and get the 5th. However, if you remove 1 and only have 3 sockets, you will have to go back to the crafting bench and get the 4 socket craft. Remember, you should always have at least 4 sockets to use the tainted jeweler's orb. The last part is where this 6-link process becomes expensive. I bought a tainted orb of fusing for 65 chaos each. Before you try to use the tainted orb of fusing, go to the crafting bench and craft 4 links. Then you apply a tainted orb of fusing and hopefully you get the 5th link. Now try to get the 6th link. Well, it's okay, we still have 4 links, so we keep going. Alright, a 6th link this time. Remember, you need at least a 4 link to start using tainted orb of fusing. Moving on to my helmet, I'm using Mind Spiral. I was very lucky and got this helmet enchantment during my first overlap. It doesn't have to be this bear curse effect. You can also get blazing salvo damage or additional projectile. I got an amulet with +1 to fire skill gems. Like I said, spells scale very well with gem level. I anointed iron wood to make my totems more tanky. I also replaced my ring. Found this while mapping and I think the cast speed is very nice. These gloves are only here because I need a replacement for this bad curse on hit since I replaced my ring. The mods do not matter. Upgraded my belt and boots. This build lacks dexterity, so you need to get it from your gear somewhere. I got most of my dexterity from my amulet, Kika Zero, and boots, some from cluster jewels. My next upgrade is to get the gloves Abhorrent Interrogation with the Despair Curse on hit implicit. Gives nice damage and allows the totems to apply Wither, but for now it's hard to find one for sale. I'm using this flask now. I replaced my silver flask with Azari's Promise because I got Onslaught from my cluster jewel. For gems, try to get a level 21 Blazing Salvo. It would give a huge damage boost. Should be cheap for one without any quality. Bought mine for 3 chaos. This is my current setup. If you have the currency, a level 4 Empower will provide more damage than concentrated effect, while also giving you an additional projectile. The rest of my gem setups remain the same. Once I get the gloves Abhorrent Interrogation with the Despair Curse on hit implicit, I will replace the Wither setup with this trap setup to generate extra power and frenzy charges. For my skill tree, I refunded these passives and got 2 cluster jewels. I got Ancestral Inspiration and Practice Caster on my large cluster jewel. With Ancestral Inspiration, you gain Arcane Surge when you summon a totem. This is good because Arcane Surge gives increased cast speed and mana regeneration rate. I got Ancestral Echoes and Sleepless Sentries from my medium cluster jewel. Sleepless Sentries is mandatory so that you have Onslaught most of the time. The other passive skill doesn't have to be Ancestral Echoes. I chose it because I like the cast speed. I would like to mention that initially I was going to get cast speed on these small passive skills of my cluster jewels, but since my ring has cast speed now, I got dexterity here. You will need at least 111 dexterity once you replace your Wither setup with trap setup. My rare jewels are not good. For upgrades, try to get jewels with increased life, crit multi, and cast speed. The next 6 passive points will be spent on getting extra power charge, the Corrupted Blood Protection Mastery, and the 2 jewel sockets here. This league, we have access to tattoos which can help with gearing. I got a Figured Honored tattoo of the dove which gives +4% to chaos resistance. Combined with the chaos resistance from my belt and other passive skills, I am now sitting at 30% chaos resistance. If I use Azari's Promise Flask, I will get another 35%. Alright, I hope I have covered everything in this video. It is a lot to take in, but I have the POE link to my current build and plan level 100 build down at the description below, so do check them out. If you like my content, don't forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and see you next time.